we can tell a prospect about the standard features that Oldsmobile offers, the more value they can see in the car they're looking at, especially when we're talking about new, high-technology features like computer command control. If we can explain and possibly demonstrate some of the basic functions of this computer, our customers can more readily understand the positive benefits this system offers. Computer command control represents a real technological breakthrough. It's a small computer information network right in the car. The computer itself is a small box that's located up under the right-hand side of the instrument panel. 5 sensors, which are located either on the engine or in the engine compartment, continually send information to this central computer. The computer takes this information, interprets it, and then sends out specific commands to various systems in the car. The computer has many functions. One of the most important is to keep the engine running as smoothly and efficiently as possible under all driving conditions. It does this by monitoring and controlling the amount of gasoline that's delivered to the engine to help maintain a specific mix of air and fuel. This air-fuel ratio helps provide a combination of good fuel economy and impressive performance while reducing emissions. Before computer command control, the carburetor mechanically controlled the flow of fuel to the engine. Often it delivered too much fuel and at the wrong time. It was slow to respond to the change in driving conditions. Computer command control allows the engine to respond more quickly to changing driving conditions because the flow of fuel is no longer entirely mechanically controlled. A solenoid controls the flow of fuel based on signals it receives from the computer. And this solenoid can make many adjustments per second to help maintain the correct air-fuel ratio. The computer also controls the speed the engine idles, which also affects fuel economy and performance. For example, when the car first starts, it's cold and requires a higher idle, which takes more gas. As it warms up, less speed becomes necessary, and that means less fuel. The more efficiently this adjustment is made, the less fuel will be wasted. With computer command control, the coolant sensor continually feeds information to the computer about engine temperature. The computer takes this information and sends signals to a motor at the throttle, setting the correct idle speed for those particular conditions. This helps maintain smooth drivability as well as good efficiency. Computer command control helps provide good fuel economy by controlling other vehicle systems as well, like torque converter clutch. In vehicles equipped with an early designed torque converter clutch, there was sometimes a slight jerking sensation when the clutch engaged. Now, because of computer command control, this sensation has been lessened. That's because the computer must be told by the sensors that all driving conditions are correct before it signals the clutch to engage. In addition to really helping drivability, computer command control is a system that can help diagnose some engine service needs. This helps to save time in the service department. Problems in this engine control system, or those related to the system, will cause the check engine light on the instrument panel to remain on. This signals the driver to bring the vehicle in for service. Once the vehicle is in for service, the service technician performs a diagnostic service check. To perform this check, the technician grounds the diagnostic lead with the ignition on and the engine not running. The check engine light will now flash out a code to tell the technician that the diagnostic system is working. It will then flash out codes to tell the service technician where the malfunction might be. The technician now looks up the codes in the service manual to find out what diagnostic steps to take to pinpoint the actual problem. This kind of capability means quicker, more accurate diagnosis of engine problems. Computer command control offers your prospects real value in terms of efficiency and drivability. Take the time to explain how it works and what the real benefits are. Auto Calculator is a new high-technology option that may be on some of the cars you present. Taking the time to demonstrate what it can do and some of the benefits it offers can help add value and appeal to the vehicle you're selling. Auto Calculator offers the basic functions of a home or office calculator, plus special information features. All information appears in a single fluorescent display. The keys are illuminated for easy night operation, and a soft tone is heard each time they're pressed. There are 10 numerical and 9 dual function keys. When you press any numerical key, the system becomes a convenient calculator. It adds, subtracts, multiplies, and divides. Special information is recorded and accessed by using the dual function keys. For example, to get the correct time, press the time-date key. Press it again to read the date. Auto Calculator can also remind you of a specific time or date. Just preset the information you want by using the time reminder, date reminder key. When you take a trip, Auto Calculator can tell you how long you've been driving and when you should arrive. It also keeps track of the distance already traveled and computes how much further you have to go. All you need to do is tell it how far you're going to travel, and it'll figure out the rest. For example, let's say your trip will be 800 miles. At the start of the trip, simply press the estimated time of arrival, estimated distance to destination key twice. Then press the reset button and enter your estimated mileage using the numerical keys. Then, while you travel, let's say in an hour's time, press this same function key once for your estimated time of arrival and twice for your estimated distance still to go. Press the trip distance key for miles traveled so far, or the elapsed time key for the total time you've been driving. Auto Calculator can also help compute vehicle fuel economy. After each fill-up, press the miles per gallon function key. Then, using the numerical keys, enter the number of gallons or liters it took to fill the tank. Press the miles per gallon key again, and Auto Calculator will display the average miles per gallon you got from the last tank of gas. To read the number of miles traveled since your last fill-up, press the distance since fill-up key. Demonstrate and explain how convenient Auto Calculator can be for prospects who do a lot of traveling, especially business travel. And remember, it's a high-tech option with readouts in either English or metric that can add value and prestige for buyers who want the most up-to-date, completely equipped car they can have. Electronic instrumentation is a high-tech option that continues to grow in popularity. Oldsmobile offers electronic clusters designed to fit the price range and styling of a particular model. This high-technology cluster is available on Cutlass Ciera. It features a digital speedometer with an English metric conversion switch for the convenience of reading speed in either kilometers or miles per hour. A bar graph shows engine temperature, and a warning light signals engine overheating. Fuel level is also displayed by a bar graph. A bright light reminds you when it's time to fill up. The cluster also features a trip odometer and the standard warning lamps for oil pressure and charging system operation. This electronic cluster is available on Tornado Brougham and is standard on the Tornado Caliente. It has a digital speedometer, and bar graphs display fuel level and engine temperature. There are lights to alert you to low fuel and signal high engine temperatures. In addition, this cluster features an electronic digital trip odometer and a convenient digital readout of inside and outside temperatures. All digital information on this cluster can be converted from English to metric with a push of a button. Point out the benefit of immediate accuracy and easy readability that electronic instrumentation offers, and demonstrate these clusters to prospects. Many of the vehicles we present will be equipped with new optional electronic cruise control. And because most prospects do at least some extended highway driving, we should be able to explain this option so they appreciate the freedom and convenience that it offers. Electronic cruise control is easy to use and easy to demonstrate. To use electronic cruise control, place the Resume Accelerate slider in the on position. When you reach the desired cruising speed, which must be above 40 kilometers per hour, press the set button in, then release it. Take your foot off the accelerator and the vehicle will stay at that cruising speed. If you are approaching a slower vehicle and wish to pass, accelerate normally. Then just release the accelerator pedal and the vehicle will slow down to the preset cruising speed and hold there. However, if you step on the brakes to slow down, the cruise control will immediately disengage. To resume your preset cruising speed after braking, move the slider to the RA position and release it. The car will now smoothly and evenly accelerate up to the preset speed. To increase your cruising speed without resetting the controls, move the slider to the RA position and hold it there. The car will slowly begin to accelerate. When you reach the faster speed you want, release the slider and the car will cruise at the newly set speed. To lower cruising speed, press the set button in and hold it. The car will coast and slow down. When you reach the lower speed you want, release the set button and the car will cruise at this new speed. You can also change your cruising speed about 1.5 kilometers per hour at a time without resetting the controls. To increase your speed, push the slider to the RA position and immediately release it. Do this for each mile an hour you want to add. To lower your cruising speed, continue to push the set button and release it quickly until you reach the desired speed. Make sure you demonstrate electronic cruise control for your prospects, and if possible, let them experience for themselves how this system puts highway driving comfort at their fingertips. There's no question we've got a winner to sell with Cutlass Ciera. It proved that in its first year by outselling every GM mid-size front-wheel drive car and a lot of others that were priced even lower. And it's going to continue to attract a wide range of prospects because it has the Cutlass reputation, the Cutlass appeal, and it's a high-technology car. But because it's still fairly new, we have to do a lot of educating as well as a lot of selling. Chances are that some buyers have been out of the market for a while. They've been driving a car that's not only older, but 1,000 pounds heavier, a foot longer, with rear-wheel drive and a sticker price that was a couple of $1,000s lower than even a low-price car today. So, it's important to give a thorough sales presentation on this car. Sell the advanced technology and the fact that Cutlass Ciera is fun to drive. In today's economic environment, people are still concerned about fuel economy. They expect a new car to be efficient. And this is where you can really begin to sell Cutlass Ciera technology. Cutlass Ciera's standard engine is the 2.5-liter four-cylinder, which is electronically fuel injected. So take the time to explain how electronic fuel injection works and what it means to your prospects in terms of performance and economy. And if you have a customer who's really looking for performance, be sure to show them the new optional 3.8-liter multi-port electronic fuel-injected V6, if you have one in stock. And you really need to keep the optional V6 diesel in mind when you're qualifying your customers. It's economical, reliable, and a good performer. It's really a super engine for this car. Check the diesel segment of this disc for full details on the kind of success we've had with this engine and what you can tell your customers about it. And whatever engine is in the car, show your customer how it's transverse mounted. Explain that one of the reasons we've turned it sideways is so that more of the car's total length can be devoted to the passenger compartment. Explain how packaging the transaxle with the engine reduces the transmission hump to give your prospects more legroom in front. And point out how moving the differential up with the engine and transaxle eliminates that bulky housing beneath the trunk floor, which gives them a deeper trunk with a flat cargo floor. This extra trunk depth is also a result of Cutlass Ciera's functional and aerodynamic styling. And styling is very important to today's mid-size car buyer, especially buyers who choose Cutlass Ciera sedan. So, remember to explain how the sloping hood and windshield are designed to be good-looking and aerodynamic, how they're styled for less wind resistance, which means better fuel economy. Then go under the skin. Explain the quality that goes into Cutlass Ciera, something that's especially important to the Cutlass Ciera coupe buyer. This may be a good time to show your prospect the disc segment on Cutlass Ciera. Let them see the robots that are programmed to spot weld the body in the same way every time for consistent high quality, and the laser optic probes that inspect body openings for correct dimensions, the extensive use of galvanized metals, zinc phosphate coatings, and the many other anti-corrosion treatments. Then, point out the plastisol right on the car. Get the customer to run their hand over it as you explain the benefit. And now's a good time to point out the 14-inch 4th generation GM specification tires. Ask them to look at the letters on the tire. Explain that M and S stand for mud and snow, which identifies them as snow tires that meet all winter driving requirements in Canada. They have steel-belted radial ply design with up to 20% more tread depth than some competitive tires, which can mean added life. And they're designed to provide year-round performance for most driving conditions without the usual noise associated with traditional snow tires. By this time, your prospect should start to have a pretty good idea of the value Cutlass Ciera offers, and you can continue to build this value story during the demo drive. Try to let your prospects take the car through some curves so they can feel how it hugs the road and experience for themselves how fun to drive Cutlass Ciera can be. This is also a good time to play up the interior comfort and demonstrate the standard features on Cutlass Ciera, like the standard power steering and power brakes. Point out the available 6-passenger seating if it's on the car you're presenting, and be sure to cover the benefits of any high-tech optional equipment like auto calculator or the electronic instrument cluster. And remember, with Cutlass Ciera, it's important to sell the car and not the price. Build a strong value story by selling the benefits of Cutlass Ciera's advanced technology. Even with the ups and downs in fuel prices and today's general trend towards smaller cars, there are always prospects out there who prefer the comfort, roominess, and ride of a full-size car. And we've got the cars these customers are looking for, and the talent to sell them. We prove this every year by outselling many other full-size cars on the market, and there's no reason we shouldn't continue this success. Although sales history shows us that the average age of a Delta 88 buyer is about 53 years, we know that it's a mistake to limit ourselves when we qualify. A Delta 88 can also be a great vehicle for a younger prospect, perhaps one with a growing family. The Delta 88 Coupe in particular has a lot of youthful appeal, and many of our competitors no longer offer a full-size coupe model. So, whatever their age, Delta 88 prospects all seem to be looking for the same things. They're looking for overall comfort, roominess for passengers, and dependability. And they're also after a good deal. Now, that's one reason the logical place to start your walk around is at the price sticker. That's probably where your customer is anyway. And since you'll be presenting whatever Delta 88 is on the floor at the time, You'll want to know what standard features and options are on the car so you can talk about them. Remember, we need to sell the value rather than the price, because what finally makes the price of a Delta 88 so attractive is being able to show your prospects that they're getting a lot of car for the dollar. For example, what they're getting under the hood. Even before you look inside, you might want to demonstrate the hood's double latch system and explain its benefits. Ask your customer to feel how easy it is to lift thanks to the counterbalanced hood springs. Now, take the time to explore the engine compartment with your prospect. Talk about the engine, the kinds of performance and economy they can expect with this engine-transmission combination. Talk about how electronic high-energy ignition offers quick, sure starting and doesn't require regular maintenance because there are no points to change. And especially talk about the serviceability features that can save your prospect time and effort. The maintenance-free Freedom 2 battery, see-through fluid reservoirs, things like that. Before you close the hood, point out the layer of full insulation that acts as a blanket to help quiet the sound. Then, step back and talk about styling. Styling might speak for itself, but point to some specifics that add prestige and value in the buyer's mind. The hood ornament that gives Delta 88 specific Oldsmobile identification, moldings and trim treatment, paint quality, and so on. Then, talk about the under-the-skin features that add dependability and value. The anti-corrosion measures, the use of galvanized metals, the zinc-rich primers, and so on. People appreciate the importance of a clean car in terms of resale value. Remind your prospect that this is a full-size car, and that one of the reasons for that smooth, comfortable Oldsmobile ride is its full-frame construction. Explain how the body mounts and full coil springs are computer-selected for each individual car according to its weight and equipment, and how these work together to help reduce road vibrations and noise in the passenger compartment. Then, comment on the rear styling. Open the trunk. Luggage capacity is important to Delta 88 prospects if they have a young and growing family or do a lot of traveling. If you're showing a custom cruiser, be sure to take the time to demonstrate the flexibility it offers in carrying cargo or people. Then, get your prospect behind the wheel. Point out the attention to detail that Oldsmobile offers, like the finishing on the door panel moldings, the hidden stitching, the color-keyed steering wheel. Ask them to feel the comfort of the full foam seats, the rich materials that are treated to be stain-resistant. Another big plus for the prospect with children or dogs, or grandchildren for that matter. Point out the built-in features that help keep the passenger compartment quiet, acoustical backed carpeting, the padded headliner, and so on. And remember to talk about Delta 88's traditionally high resale value. Then explain that to fully appreciate all that Delta 88 offers, it really should be driven. Get your customer to experience these things for themselves. Electronics and computers are everywhere today, even in this engine compartment. And when you consider the fact that a gasoline engine can be controlled by a computer, that's pretty amazing. And it should be a very strong selling point because of the ways in which this technology benefits your customers. The real clue to keeping an engine efficient is being able to regulate or control the amount of fuel the engine gets as quickly as the driving conditions change. The engine should get the right amount of fuel at the right time. No more, no less. On conventional gasoline engines, the computer command control system has some control over fuel delivery, but not total control, because the computer must work through a carburetor and can only adjust the flow of fuel about 10 times per second. Now, this is quite an advanced system in itself, but total control of fuel delivery can mean even added fuel economy and performance. Electronic fuel injection was developed to help achieve this kind of control. Electronic fuel injection, or EFI, uses the computer and the sensors of computer command control, but doesn't use the special carburetor. In fact, the carburetor as we know it has been eliminated altogether. Instead, fuel is delivered to the engine either by a single injector at the throttle body or by individual injectors at each of the engine's cylinders. The computer has total control of these injectors and turns them on to deliver fuel and off to stop fuel delivery. The standard four-cylinder engine in Ciera and Omega utilizes a single-point injection system where a single injector replaces the upper two-thirds of the carburetor. All that remains of the carburetor is the very bottom part, called the throttle body, which holds the throttle plate. The single injector is positioned directly above this throttle plate. Now here's what happens. When you step on the accelerator pedal, the throttle plate opens to allow air into the engine. At the same time, the computer pulses the injector on and off very rapidly to deliver just the right amount of fuel to the engine based on the information it receives from the sensors. When the injector is on, fuel is being injected into the airstream as it flows past the injector down through the open throttle plate and into the engine. The injector works much like a nozzle on an aerosol or pump spray dispenser. It injects the fuel in a cone-shaped spray, which breaks it up into a very fine mist. When the fuel is broken up like this, it can mix more completely with the air, and the more consistent the air-fuel mixture, the more stable the combustion. Efficient combustion helps squeeze the most out of every drop of gas, and that means impressive fuel economy and drivability. Our optional 3.8-liter V6 has a different system called multi-port electronic fuel injection. This system uses 6 injectors, one located at each cylinder, and all controlled by the computer. With multi-port fuel injection, fuel is delivered directly to each individual cylinder. This means even more efficient use of fuel for impressive mileage and good performance. Electronic fuel injection. No matter what the system, can offer your prospect precise fuel control, and that translates into impressive drivability, fuel economy, and performance. Take the time to let them know about the kind of high technology they'll be getting in their new Oldsmobile.